Ew, gross, no! Filler. A plague that spreads to any anime with more than 25 episodes. Naruto, Bleach, Gintama, Dragon Ball Z, all of Boruto, and unfortunately, the future Pirate King himself has fallen victim to this very virus a few times as well. Back when One Piece actually had decent pacing, the anime was like quickly catching up to the manga, so they needed to take action. Starting from Logtown, they added a lot of filler since the manga in the original was so short. However, that wasn't enough. They needed more, and thus, Warship Island was born. A story later adapted into a light novel and was initially planned to be a movie. Honestly, this concept just sounds way more interesting than the first One Piece movie we actually got. A lot of One Piece filler nowadays is just stretching the canon material to a crawl with, or having episodes to promote an upcoming movie. In the past, One Piece filler had original story arcs, which honestly weren't that bad. Okay, they kinda sucked. So today, I wanna take a look back at the first One Piece filler arc to see if maybe it could be good enough to be considered canon. Spoiler alert, nope. So ignore the main quest, seek the Fountain of Youth, and binge watch all 3 How to Train Your Dragon movies as we search for Lost Island, home of the Millennial Dragons. After Luffy narrowly escapes death by the hands of the strongest character in the series, the gang leave Logtown and are on their way to the Grand Line. Meanwhile, some random girl is being held prisoner by the Marines. She manages to slip past them and... can never get past this part. Somehow, this one child manages to sink an entire marine ship full of adults and escapes on a small wooden boat. Back to the Straw Hats as they inch closer and closer to the Alabasta Saga.
Shouldn't we reach the Grand Line soon? What do you think? We just left Logtown 2 days ago. It'll take some time before we get there.
Usopp spots what he believes to be food, and the sole cause of world hunger goes to fetch it. Although Luffy quickly realizes it's actually a person, and just like any JRPG, Luffy swaps out Zoro for their new crewmate. Introducing Apis! Well, on the bright side, at least the filler arc is over. Apis decides to cook for everyone as thanks for letting her stay aboard the ship.
She took the time to cook this feast. The least you can do is eat every crumb.
Sanji, I understand you hate wasting food. I get it, but this is literal dirt.
Girl dinner!
Apis explains how she came from a place known as Warship Island. Nami says they don't mind taking her back to her hometown before heading off to the Grand Line, as it's not too far away. But the time for fun and games is over, as the Marines intercept the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats do manage to escape, but they find themselves in even greater danger, as they've entered the Calm Belt. The Grand Line sits in between 2 thin strips of ocean known as the Calm Belt. While it may seem like any other relaxing day, this stretch of ocean is a sailor's worst nightmare, as the winds and water are completely still, causing any ship to be stuck in the middle of the sea. What's worse is this body of water is home to the Sea Kings.
So,
here's my second biggest gripe with this arc. The fact that there's canon material mixed into the filler story. Rather than just being pure filler that you could just skip, they sprinkle in some story relevant parts to it. Then you would just miss out on some plot relevant world building. The Straw Hats do what the Straw Hats do best. Get out of an impossible situation in the least convincing way possible. Then they head to Warship Island. The gang land at Warship Island. Apis's grandpa welcomes them into their home, and while grandpa goes on about the good old days, Apis sneaks out to take care of some business. After a while, Nami and Luffy head out, only to find Apis walking into a cave carrying a bunch of food. They follow her inside, only to find Grandpa Ryu, the Depression Dragon, streaming now on Disney+. Okay, this is how I know for a fact we're definitely in a filler arc. Dragons in One Piece? Come on now. Grandpa Ryu is a millennial dragon from a place known as Lost Island, home to Apis's ancestors. Using the bones of a dragon could make the elixir of immortality, which is Commodore Nelson's goal. Apis wants to save Grandpa Ryu and return him to his homeland. However, just like the One Piece, nobody knows where the fuck it is. 1089 chapters and we don't know shit! Come on, Oda! Luffy agrees to help Apis on her quest to find Lost Island. I like to consider Warship Island the dark timeline where Luffy just straight up abandons the One Piece. But the Marines are hot on their tail. With them is the bounty hunter Eric the Whirlwind, who's been hired by Commodore Nelson to capture Apis as she holds the key to finding the elixir of immortality. Eric ate the sicko fruit. Using his nails, he can create sharp blades of wind, making him a sicko man. The gang managed to escape the Marines and are on their way to find a lost island. Welcome to Two Piece! As the Straw Hats sail endlessly, Apis makes a shocking discovery. Thanks to her whisper fruit, she can talk to and understand any animal. Grandpa Ryu says he remembers where the dragon nest is. And not long after, the gang find the fog door from Dark Souls and go through it, only to be met with a harsh storm. However, with Nami's navigational prowess, they power through and find Lost Island.
What'd he say?
He said that this place might not even be the actual Lost Island.
If I were Luffy, I would just leave Apis there. They enter the ruins and uncover the lore nobody cares about. Above them is a map that explains where Lost Island is. And you won't believe this twist, guys. Warship Island is Lost Island. I need a gun.
Oh man, are all millennial dragons as useless as he is?
And just like your clingy ex, Eric the Sicko can't leave the Straw Hats alone for 5 minutes. Zoro stays behind to fend off the Sicko while everyone else runs away. It's okay, DJ. It's almost over. Eric doesn't have time for games. He traps Zoro using a tree? You fiend! There's nothing that Roronoa Zoro, master of 3-sword style, soon to be world's greatest swordsman, who's carrying 3 very sharp and powerful blades, can do about a tree? He'll have to find another way! Luffy grabs Zoro and they leave the ancient ruins.
What? I don't... You know what? It ain't worth it.
Now that the Straw Hats know their destination, they head straight back to Warship Island, although Commodore Nelson is 1 step ahead. Imagine the grossest, most villainous, irredeemable son of a bitch you can think of, and triple their weight. Okay? That's half the size of Commodore Nelson. A self-centered, power-hungry slob, Commodore Nelson wants the Dragonite to make himself immortal. Disappointed with Eric's performance, he decides to take matters into his own hands. He calls forth an army of Marines twice the size of a Buster Call. The Straw Hats fight back to protect Grandpa Ryu, while Luffy and Sanji fend off some Marines. Our world's greatest swordsman cuts the steel chains.
Can you cut him?
There isn't anything I can't cut.
Dude, Zoro was so cool. Like, this man just cut steel like it was nothing. I mean, I've heard that Alabasta is the moment when Zoro really shines, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. All right, I'll be right back. What the fuck?
This is one of the biggest plot holes for anime onlys because of this filler arc. I mean, here we see Zoro just cut steel like it's butter, but then later in Alabasta, Zoro struggles to cut steel and then can't fight a dude named Daz Bones, who's made of steel. During all the commotion, Eric takes Grandpa Ryu and Apis hostage. Nelson thanks the Sicko for his hard work, although Eric betrays the Commodore, saying how he wants the immortality for himself. Grandpa Ryu, fed up with all this bullshit, gathers the strength to stand up and fight back. However, the Marines are too much even for a millennial dragon, as Grandpa Ryu is badly hurt and at death's door. Luffy hears Grandpa Ryu's final request to protect Apis and Lost Island. Alright, now you're telling me Luffy can just hear the voice of animals and all other things? I swear to God, this filler just keeps making up random bullshit. Before Grandpa Ryu passes on, he lets out one final roar and assembles an army of millennial dragons. Should have done this sooner, to be honest. In probably the coolest scene of this filler arc, Luffy grabs onto the dragon and destroys Commodore Nelson's ship with a single battle axe kick. The dragons swarm Grandpa Ryu's corpse as Lost Island emerges from the ground. Every 1,000 years, Lost Island appears. This is essentially sanctuary for dragons and new dragons alike. All seems fine, but our wannabe JoJo villain Eric the Sicko is still alive and kicking, bloodthirsty and determined to get his hands on the elixir no matter what. Eric and Luffy duke it out for the sake of Lost Island. Finally, some action! This arc was getting pretty boring, but with Eric's whirlwind powers, I can imagine this will be a tough fight. With Lost Island saved, the Straw Hats say their goodbyes to Apis.
Apis, you sure you don't want to come?
I'm sorry, Luffy, you wanted Apis to join your crew? All she does is... Plus, you're about to get someone on your crew who not only can talk to animals, but can probably cure cancer too. Apis decides she wants to stay and protect Lost Island, despite the fact it's gonna go back underground and won't resurface for another 1,000 years, and the dragons are just gonna go back into hiding. Remember guys, she's a literal child, so she's dumb as hell. And so, the Straw Hats set sail out of filler hell. They reach the top of Reverse Mountain and are moments away from entering the Grand Line. I think this might be the first time a Straw Hat has actually killed someone. After barely escaping the cops, the Straw Hats enter the canon world of the Reverse Mountain Arc. To be continued. After saving a blue-haired girl's kingdom from a civil war and crocodile infestation, the Straw Hats take a nap as they sail towards the next island.
Morning. How about a passionate good morning kiss?
Adoring fans have created all sorts of inspired artwork for this series that, while well drawn, absolutely make me want to vomit and stab my eyes out. But at least it's not as bad as the My Hero fandom. The gang land on Filler Island. While Nami does map stuff, the boys go searching for supplies. Meanwhile, our emergency food is on guard duty. That's right, everyone. It's a Chopper episode.
That's right. Just make sure to keep her in one piece, okay?
I now declare the Straw Hats no more! Chopper is the law. Oh, hail the captain of the Cotton Candy Pirates, Tony Chopper. He might be the new leader, but his first mate, Nico Robin, doesn't seem too fond of her new overlord just yet.
I am the danger. I am the one who knocks.
While Chopper cooks his latest batch of rumble balls to give the Mexican cartel, he thinks back to the days when he was just an innocent chemist discovering his latest creation. He's caught off guard as Robin comes in for some coffee. Since he broke the barrel of water, the two go out to fetch some more. As they fetch some water, Robin and Chopper share a bit of their past. Chopper tells the story of his studies with Dr. Kureha. Dr. Kureha scolds Chopper for messing with her chemicals. Before she can give him a good old PG-13 beating, Dr. Reen falls ill with a dangerous disease she contracted after helping a patient not too long ago. If she doesn't get help soon, Dr. Kureha will die from the fatal virus known as Ligma.
I guess this will make me your very first patient. I won't give you a single word of advice. You're on your own. If you fail, I'll die. No pressure.
Oh man, Dr. Reen, that's a lot of pressure. But you know what? I have been doing a lot of studying and memorization for all kinds of medical practices. You know what? I'll cure you for sure. Yeah, no, Dr. Chopper, she's fucking dead. I don't know why you thought some NyQuil and a couple of cough drops was just gonna save her.
Anybody can memorize words in a book. The truest test comes with practice. A doctor holds the life of their patients in their hands as Chopper's studies are put to use.
Most patients will have little knowledge of medicine or what is used to compound it. They simply trust their doctor's judgment and abide by whatever prescription he gives them.
Take this spoonful of cinnamon and then call your mom fat. Doctor's orders, bitch.
Time passes and Chopper succeeds in saving Dr. Kureha, bringing him one step closer to achieving his dream of finding a cure for every disease in the world. Later that night, the Straw Hats gather by the campfire to enjoy some fruit and meat.
Explain to me why you weren't able to gather so much as a single piece of fruit.
That's a good question. What's your answer?
Next up is a Nami episode. The gang are chillin' and enjoying the ocean tides. Sanji makes a delicious Mountain Dew beauty drink meant to keep the skin silky smooth.
Sanji! Come on, I want some!
What the heck do you three care about having smoother skin anyway?
To be cuter!
Men, start a skincare routine this year. We should all strive to be adorable and jacked. Thanks to the Super Rod, Luffy catches an Ammonite. Inside the Pokemon is the most out-of-place character in the One Piece world. Introducing Rice Rice, an employee from Transponder Snail Mail Order. Basically, Amazon Prime for pirates. Rice Rice shows off all the wacky, overpriced items within his collection to sell. Books, toys, workout equipment, beauty, and more. There's all sorts of wacky, crazy items for you to purchase.
Hey, do you have paper?
Just paper? Man, this is Amazon. We have all sorts of ridiculous things. It's crazy. I mean, like hell, we probably even have the One Piece somewhere in here for like $40 on sale. And you just want paper?
Rice Rice shows her the indestructible 1,000-year paper. Nothing written will ever fade from it. Nami takes the item so she can use it to work towards her goal of drawing a map of the whole world. Nami uses the peace and quiet to draw maps of all the islands they visited within the Alabasta Saga. I feel like besides Luffy, Zoro, and Robin, we hardly see the Straw Hats work towards their goals. Cause they're all just kinda helping Luffy do his thing. Nami thinks back to the days of Kokoyashi Village with Bellamere and Nojiko. You know, before the whole... yeah, that. As she reminisces about the time Bellamere gave Nami full support of her dreams. However, the Straw Hats don't give two shits about her goal, as they keep being way too loud and even messing up her maps. Arlong might have been a manipulative piece of shit, but at least he let Nami draw her damn maps.
It's the only map in the world to record a journey after entering the Grand Line. It's one of a kind. Look at it now!
But if any of you ever do anything to hurt her, I will kill you.
Don't tell Genzo. Hungry yet? Cause now it's Sanji's turn. The Straw Hats come across a really thick fog. To make matters even worse, a bunch of marine ships are scattered all around. So the gang try to escape before anyone notices them.
Is that a kid standing up there?
Hey! Do a flip, coward! $10 you won't!
The gang rescue the kid named Tajio, who's very angry he was saved by a couple of crooks. After enjoying such a nutritious meal, Tajio explains his dilemma. The Marines were preparing for an important lunch with the captains. Tajio accidentally spilled the curry and was tasked to remake it himself, although he's not confident in his abilities.
Have any of you ever heard of the All Blue?
Yeah, it's Fishman Island, according to Sanji's boner. Our tsundere cook decides to help Tajio. Along with Mr. Troublemaker, they go back to the marine ship. While Luffy gets into trouble, Tajio gets to cook it. Because of Tajio's lack of cooking skills, he's not quite sure exactly what to do, and Sanji helps by not helping.
Cooking isn't something that can be taught.
Yeah, you can. There's literally schools for that, and all other kinds of cookbooks with easy-to-make, delicious recipes, just like today's sponsor, HelloFresh. This video isn't sponsored by HelloFresh, but that was literally the perfect segue. Then for 5 minutes, we just watch a kid make a meal. We really went from the epic tale of Alabasta to this. Of course, it doesn't take long for Luffy to get in trouble, so Sanji leaves and Tajio thanks him for the advice on the cooking. Besides fighting and his White Knight tendencies, a big thing about Sanji's character is his cooking abilities. But outside of Baratie, we never really see him use those skills in depth, flex his knowledge, or even grow as a cook. Like, he just came out the womb making 5-star gourmet meals. Let's give Usopp some love. The gang are sailing on a slow, rainy day, with not much to do as Robin reads the script for an upcoming arc. Our captain does the unthinkable.
Hey, Robin, what's that book you've had your nose in all this time?
Luffy's interested in a book?
Filler really is just the dark timeline of anime. First, Luffy wants to read? Who knows what's next? Nami doesn't like money, Zoro is good with directions, and don't you dare tell me Usopp and Sogeking are the same person. Never cross that line. Thankfully, Zoro saves all of us from damnation as they come across Filler Village, an island known for its festivities as the Straw Hats are just in time for a fireworks festival.
I hope we don't have a repeat of what happened last year. Yeah, I do too.
What happened at last year's fest?
These nice folks came here to have a good time. We don't need to ruin it by telling them about last year.
Yeah, no, we're not doing this Scooby-Doo shit. I'm gonna need you to tell me what the fuck happened last year. Usopp goes over to see the pyrotechnicians, to swoon them into giving him a bunch of gunpowder. Boss Odama is immediately disgusted with Usopp's presence and refuses to help. Usopp meets the boss's granddaughter and assistant, Kodama, a cheerful girl who's passionate about her family's craft. The boss orders Usopp to help Kodama set up the fireworks. As he helps, Usopp learns that Kodama's parents died from last year's festival after a 200-gauge shell malfunctioned. Despite her grandfather's wishes, Kodama wants to launch another giant shell in hopes of making her parents proud. She plans to do it in secret with the help of the launch team. Too bad the launch team are a bunch of snitches and tell Boss Odama about Kodama's reckless idea. Keep one eye open, asshole. Usopp goes to see Kodama whining to her dead parents about not being able to light the giant shell. Somehow, our slingshot stallion just lands a nat 20 persuasion check and tricks Kodama into thinking he's her parents who convince her to not light the firework. This is honestly both wholesome and dumb as hell. Like, I understand, she's a child. But how do you get gaslit into thinking you're talking to your dead parents?
The rain! It stopped! That was amazing! Who are you?
I'm a special messenger sent from heaven. Call me Usopp the Angel.
This is where it all started! And so begins the firework festival. The pyrotechnicians blast a barrage of beautiful lights into the night sky for everyone in the village to enjoy. Meanwhile, with Captain Angel Usopp's help, they fire the 200-gauge shell into the night sky. Look, Kodama, your parents' dreams have finally come true! And we've saved the best for last, as it's Zoro's turn for an episode. We begin with the flashback to his past, back when he started bounty hunting in the East Blue. Johnny and Yosuke are at a bar sporting some 80s punk boy fashion. They notice a bandit with a 5 million bounty on his head, although Johnny believes they're a bit too advanced for such a small timer. Just then, Zoro comes into the bar looking for some food, and plans to beat the bandit as payment.
Answer me this, Gruesome. You do have a bounty on your head, right?
Yeah, it's a big one, too. Last I checked, it was 5 million berries.
Only 5 million? Bro, Higuma was worth 8 million berries. Easy low diff for my boy, like the man made Shanks clean the floor. Zoro easily takes them out, just so he can afford some food. Johnny and Yosuke are a bit pressed he took their bounty, so Zoro apologizes and lets them have the prize money. Impressed by Zoro's code of honor, Johnny thinks back about the reason he became a bounty hunter. When his village was attacked by bandits, bounty hunters saved them. As a kid, Johnny and Yosuke saw the hunters as heroes and wanted to become brave warriors of justice just like them. And now's the time to test that resolve. A powerful bandit has come to terrorize the village. And what is the name of this dastardly villain, you might ask?
Here he is, and he's a big leaguer, too. 10 million berries big.
Hey, what can I say? I'm always packing 10 mil. Dick is huge. With his thick cannon, he unloads all over the face of the town. Johnny and Yosuku are unsure of what to do as they realize they are below average in comparison to this behemoth. Eventually, they muster up the courage and come to the battlefield to teach this big bad Dick a lesson. Johnny and Yosuku can't handle Dick as they grovel on the floor. Before things reach their climax, Zoro joins in on the fun. Everyone realizes he's the infamous pirate hunter of the East Blue, as he easily beats the bandits. Impressed by the three-sword style, Johnny and Yosuku join their new big bro on his journey in hopes of becoming great warriors just like him. Fun fact, after the events of Arlong Park, Johnny and Yosuku became fishermen for Kokoyashi Village. Is that racist? After the defeat of Crocodile, the Straw Hats have now become C-tier celebrities as they're constantly attacked by the Marines.
Come on! You guys do something and they're gonna blow us out of the water!
I'm too hungry to do anything.
During the attack, they come into a thick fog and some dangerous whirlpools. Nami uses her Yonko-level navigational skills to outsmart the Marines and hide at a nearby island. But because this is One Piece, the Straw Hats find themselves in even more danger. Not even a minute into the island and the Straw Hats meet their greatest foes yet. An army of angry goats launch an assault on the pirates.
Don't hurt him! These goats aren't really evil!
The goats prove to be too much for these rookie pirates to handle. However, Chopper is able to intimidate the goats and even summon their leader. Introducing Zenny, the debt collector and leader of the goats. As a hater of pirates, he demands the Straw Hats leave the island.
Do your worst! Simmer me, bake me, whatever, I won't talk.
Oh, that's good. I'm a cook, you see. I excel in simmering and baking.
Wait, I was only
Your dinner, sir. The Zenny Spaghetti.
While Chopper takes care of Zenny, the gang decide to help the old man with some of his chores as an apology for disrupting everything. Zoro is out grabbing food and comes across a shocking discovery. A wooden ship with the mark of Zenny parked right in the middle of the forest. Later that night, Zoro tells the gang about the ship, and Nami gets a sneaky idea. Legend has it that this island conveniently has a hidden treasure within it, and Nami suspects Zenny knows all about it and used to be a former pirate.
I think we should get off this island right now.
Chopper reunites with everyone to deliver some unfortunate news. Zenny has a terrible heart condition and is estimated to die in 3 days. Knowing this, the Straw Hats decide to give the old man the best 3 days of his life, serving a feast, doing chores, and just hanging out. Meanwhile, back at a nearby Marine base, Sergeant Menchie pretends as if he accidentally let the Straw Hats escape, but deep down, he has bigger plans. Menchie wants the treasure on Goat Island for himself, as he purposely hides the news from his captain.
In that case, did you hear about the big fracas in Alabasta? Do you know who it was that took down Crocodile? Apparently it was the Straw Hat Pirates. Huh? I'm not messing with anyone who can take Crocodile out. I don't care how many men we have.
Only in a filler arc would the Marines be smart enough not to want to fight Luffy and the other Straw Hats after the crazy shit they've done. Back to the Straw Gang as they help Zenny work on the ship.
How about a nice shoulder rub to relax you?
Wait!
It should have been me!
Sanji asks Zenny about the ship and why it's all up in the mountains. Zenny explains that this isn't just a ship, it's his coffin, fully aware that his life will end any day. But before he can explain the rest, he takes a nap. Later in the day, Zoro comes to a realization. 3 days have passed since Chopper's diagnosis, but Zenny is still alive and healthier than normal. The Straw Hats want off the island, but Nami's gambling addiction finally catches up to her, as in their many games of chess, she lost. Not just her sanity, but the going merry as well. And so now, the remaining 1100 episodes of One Piece will be exclusively on Goat Island. Thankfully, Robin is able to win back the ship in another game of chess. Then later that night, Zenny explains his old life out on the sea as a debt collector for pirates. Zenny the moneylender dealt with many pirates who wouldn't pay back the money they owed, so he'd have to get his money back by force.
Were you that strong, old goat man?
Hell no, I was weaker than a kitten.
So canonically, this cat could kick Zenny's ass. Despite the danger, Zenny fought the pirates to live out his own dream of being a pirate himself. Though he explains that things got tough when Zenny was stranded on this island after running away from pirates trying to kill him. He intended to get back out to sea in hopes of living out his dream, but with the hard labor of building a ship at his age, by the time he finished, he realized he was way too old to set out to sea. Zenny has been stuck on the island for the past 20 years, forced to abandon his dream.
Since I was just a little kid, I wanted to be a pirate. A real pirate.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
The king of pirates.
Know your limits. However, Luffy, the man with arguably the craziest of dreams, wants to help Zenny live out his before it's too late, as they decide to push the ship out into sea. Back at the Marine base, the captain is ready to take on the Straw Hats, but to avoid his plans being ruined, Sergeant Menchie tries to give the captain a different alternative.
Not only do some of the Straw Hats have devil fruit powers, but we'll be up against the master swordsman Roanoa Zoro.
What does that matter?
They beat Crocodile? Bruh, I'm Captain Moores of the Goat Island Filler Arc. I don't give a fuck about no warlord. Oh, look at me. I'm made of sand. Ooh. Okay, when they can beat somebody like Katakuri, then we can talk.
Menchie advises a smaller fleet led by himself should take on the Straw Hats to avoid any large casualties, when in reality, the sergeant just wants the treasure for himself. Sneaky, sneaky, that Sergeant Menchie. The next morning, trouble rears its ugly ass head as the Marines have come for the Straw Hats. The sergeant tries to trick the Straw Hats, but thankfully only one of their brains is made of rubber, as they see through Menchie's lies with an army of Marines out and waiting for a signal to attack. Zenny notices the danger of the situation and commands his goats to help him save the Straw Hats. After 20 years, the Zenny pirates finally make their debut. And so, the war on Goat Island has begun. Goats versus Marines. A battle between the two greatest factions. Watch as these warriors shake the very grounds we stand on and split the sea with a single swing of their blades. Move over, Frodo, red-haired rat, white disease, and big mistake. There's only room for one emperor around these parts. Realizing the danger, one of the Marines attempts to call for backup, but Sergeant Menchie shows his true colors, attempting to kill one of his own subordinates just to avoid others knowing about the treasure. The Goat Pirates have victory within their grasp, but the excitement becomes a bit too much for Zenny, as he begins to have a heart attack. Exploiting Zenny's one and only weakness, Menchie threatens to kill our captain for the location of his treasure. However, you can always count on Nico Robin to come in clutch. The Straw Hats help Old Man Zenny take down Menchie, and thanks the kids as he declares his desire to keep on living. Then they send the liar to their captain, who heard everything. And of course, Nami kills the vibe by asking for Zenny's treasure as compensation. Zenny decides to tell the truth about the treasure. In reality, Zenny did have a treasure with loads of valuable goods that he exchanged for Jeff Bezos levels of money. However, when he drifted onto shore, his dream came to an end, as when he woke up, all the goats gathered around and started eating all his money, ruining Zenny's dream. So yeah, Sergeant Menchie is not the villain of Goat Island. It's those goddamn goats! However, Zenny is a glass half full kind of guy, as now he looks at the goats as his own treasure. Although the gang aren't out just yet, Captain Moores thanks them for revealing Menchie's dishonorable code, although he still has a duty to fulfill as he challenges the Straw Hats to an honorable battle. The Straw Hats say their goodbyes. Chopper tells Zenny to keep up with his medicine, and the rest of the gang wish him safe travels.
We'll see you out on the sea sometime.
They're not gonna see him again, let's be real. And as the Straw Hats neg-diff Captain Moores and his fleet, Zenny thanks the Straw Hats for giving him the strength to live out his dream for as long as he can. Zenny's heart might be weak, but his guts are even stronger. Long live Zenny, captain of the Goat Pirates. The end. Day in the life of a Straw Hat pirate. Wake up, get attacked by Marines, eat, attacked by Marines, eat, save the world, attacked by Marines, and sleep.
This is really getting old. I'm gonna drop dead from exhaustion!
Oh, Usopp. If only you knew. As the Straw Hats try to run away, the Major uses his finger bomb to blast the Straw Hat's backside. Unfortunately, he accidentally kills his subordinates instead. Well, this is going to be awkward at the end of the arc. With the coast clear, the Straw Hats can now safely enter the next island, known as Verluca. And because this is One Piece, conflict immediately arises as a guard says they must pay a harbor fee for docking their ship or die. While Zoro dreams about fighting a BDSM pterodactyl and Luffy's team go shopping, Usopp and Robin come across Henzo, the wacky scientist of Verluca. Henzo asks if they've seen a rainbow-colored mist. Intrigued, Robin shows Henzo the book series that she's been reading. Fun fact, since the beginning of the Post-Alabasta filler arc, you can actually see Robin reading these books, which means that for a filler arc, they've been slowly leading up to this moment. Canon or non-canon, One Piece is the king of world building and foreshadowing. The Rainbow Mist is said to be the closest thing to El Dorado, a portal to the Golden City. However, Henzo believes this to be nothing but a myth. The important exposition is interrupted as the tax collectors have arrived to take the citizens' money for the most ridiculous of reasons, like getting taxed for drinking and eating. The head of tax collection, Philip, asks Henzo about his mist research and how the longer it takes, the more money they have to collect from the citizens to fund his research, causing most of the townspeople to hate Henzo for his hocus-pocus fake science bullshit. Meanwhile, Nami's team is going out shopping, but face the consequences of their actions. Since they didn't pay the harbor tax, Lake, the head of the Dynamo team, has come to enforce justice on the tax-evading pirates. Normally, Sanji would have no problem fighting this dork, but because this is filler, his power has been cut in half. The Dynamo suit gives Lake electric powers, making it almost impenetrable, the perfect training for what's to come. The one thing I always hate about filler is how they basically make the characters way weaker than they actually are in the main story. Like, they come up with all these lame excuses to justify why Luffy can't just one-shot the main villain. Over at the harbor, everyone in the town looks off into the distance. Luffy's team arrive to check in on the commotion, only to find an abandoned pirate ship. Nobody knows where it came from, but Henzo seems to recognize it. Henzo gets on the boat and looks around. He calls out the names of 5 random people as he runs around the ship like he lost something important.
Rocket!
What the hell?
You know, I kinda miss when people were shocked to see Luffy's powers, cause nowadays in One Piece, literally everyone has a devil fruit, so it wouldn't make any sense for someone to be shocked by Luffy's powers. Like, it would be kind of funny if they get to Emu, and Emu's like, whoa, he's made of rubber? How did that happen? Yo ho ho, took a bite of gum gum. I just got that. That was not in the script, I apologize. When they check the ship, everything inside seems pretty new. Even the food is relatively fresh. Henzo says he recognizes this ship from 50 years ago. Must be the Alzheimer's. Back to the psych ward, Grandpa! Speaking of delusional, Henzo's satellite backpack starts going haywire. They look outside only to find the rainbow mist has formed close by. Not wasting time, Henzo and the Straw Hats go to check it out. Just what is inside the rainbow mist? Could it be the City of Gold? The Emerald City? Or maybe even the One Piece itself? Oh shit, we are way too early.
What is this place?
You ever heard of Ape's Concert?
Welcome to the Rainbow Mist. What many thought to be a special paradise is actually an endless pirate graveyard where time stands still. It's basically the hyperbolic time chamber, but way worse. Luffy and Usopp try to make the most of the situation by looting all sorts of treasures. But unbeknownst to them, someone is watching.
Yo, and some ice cream?
The ghosts of the Rainbow Mist warn the trespassers to leave or face their childlike wrath. Unfortunately for them, Luffy is too stupid to be afraid, and he attacks the ghosts. And thanks to the goat, aka Nico Robin, they stop the spirits, who turn out to be kids. Kids that Henzo knows very well.
We're all together in the same boat here. We live and die with one another no matter what!
Oof. These Gen Alpha kids are fucking crazy. Rongo, Akibi, Songo, Isoka, and their leader, Rapa Nui. These are the Pumpkin Pirates. Kids who've been trapped in the Rainbow Mist for the past 50 years.
I'll blow us all up, I'm warning you, stop it! Get back now!
Henzo tries to explain to the kids that he knows them, but Rapa Nui says, "Nice try, Diddy," and escapes with a smoke bomb. Oh, and Zoro finally wakes up. It honestly would have been really funny if Zoro was asleep this whole arc. After some time, Henzo explains himself to the Pedo Patrol. Back on Reluca Island, the gang would play all the time at their secret hideout. Henzo was their genius scientist who'd make all of their gadgets, like the Kaboom Mark III. One night, they all gather around at the campfire, and Rapa Nui declares his dream of becoming a pirate. Filled with joyous innocence and ambition, everyone agrees to follow the path of a pirate in order to explore the outside world. But the Pumpkin Pirates remove their rose-tinted goggles to see just how horrible pirates really are, as the town of Reluca is on fire. Led by their captain Wetten, the Wetten Pirates burn the city, stealing and killing whatever they can. The Pumpkin Pirates run into Wetten, whose kill count is rated E for everyone. The gang run away to Wetten's ship, hoping to use it to escape. They manage to sail, but Wetten isn't far behind. And to make matters worse, the Rainbow Mist appears right in front of them. Henzo pushes Wetten out of the way while the Pumpkin Pirates escape into Ape's concert. Back to the present, Henzo explains that since then he's been trying to find the Rainbow Mist in the hopes of saving his friends. However, he has no idea how to escape it. Back in Reluca, Nami's team settled their fight with Lake, who accidentally spills the beans on his grandfather's plan. Speaking of which, they meet the man himself, Mayor Wetten, the pirate captain from 50 years ago. This is probably one of the craziest things to me about this filler arc. Like, how the hell did a town let a man who burned your city and killed your people become its mayor? And the worst part is, I know there's a joke or reference I could make somewhere, but unfortunately, I don't know enough about politics or history to make one.
You can't come with us. After all, you're a grown-up now, aren't you?
Please just wait!
Hey, whoa! Slow down there, sir! You want to explain to me why you, a half-naked, grown-ass man, is trying to swim all alone with a bunch of minors? Chris Hansen, get this man. On Chris Hansen.
As they sail through the mist, Robin happens to find Akibi and uses him to take them to the Pumpkin Pirates. Meanwhile, at the Pumpkin Pirates headquarters, they have Wetten's navigator Ian locked up for being a piece of shit to them when they first got to Ape's concert. Luffy's team arrives at the hideout. Henzo once again tries to reason with the Pumpkin Pirates, but Rapa Nui is too stubborn to listen to anyone above the age of 18. Being persuaded by food, the kids decide to listen to what they have to say, and Henzo apologizes for not being able to save them sooner. Before things get melodramatic, Henzo gets a call from Philip about how things are going. Once Wetten is mentioned, Rapa Nui goes back to being a little bitch and calls Henzo a traitor. For Henzo, the destruction of Reluca was 50 years ago, but to the Pumpkin Pirates, it's only been a few weeks. Speaking of Wetten, him and his children talk about their plan to steal the treasures within Ape's concert. Sleeper Agent Nami hears her trigger word and goes off to save her crew. However, Wetten's ship wasn't the only thing that came out of the rainbow mist. Nami does whatever she can to avoid the Sea King. Meanwhile, Chopper and Sanji have to deal with an easily stoppable, but because this is filler, they can't beat him just yet, Wetten, piloting a mech with flames. Back in Ape's concert, Rapa Nui continues to argue with Henzo. Luffy gets bored and decides to go somewhere else. I wonder where he went.
Love, hate, ultimate pleasure.
Do you guys think Alabasta level Luffy could have saved Guts? Eventually, Rapa Nui and Henzo come to an agreement and are friends again. Luffy immediately fucks it up and takes Rapa Nui with him into an alternate dimension. We might have lost one Straw Hat, but thankfully, a much more competent one has arrived as they meet up with Nami. Before they can explain the story to Nami, Ian comes in with one of the kids as a hostage and demands a ship.
If you're looking for a way to get yourself out of the rainbow mist, then you can just come with us.
Don't you care what happens to this little boy?
Why should I?
Jesus, I don't know what happened in between here and Punk Hazard, but even for Nami, that's pretty fucked up.
Oh my god! He took one of the kids hostage! Oh! Man, what do we do? Oh, if only someone had the power to, I don't know, make their limbs grow on someone's body and just immediately snap their neck. Oh, that would be so useful in a situation like this. It's too bad nobody has the power to do that right now. Right, Robin?
Ian gets away with a bunch of the treasures and leaves Ape's concert. After Sanji and Chopper receive an embarrassing neck diff, Wetten reunites with Ian, who at first mistakes Lake as the captain. Now knowing that Ape's concert really is filled with treasure, Wetten whips out the Rainbow Tower and hits the erection button, causing the rainbow mist to be penetrated by Wetten's thick pillar. Him and his men come inside and raid the area. Bro, what the fuck am I writing? While Wetten's men start collecting treasure, Luffy and Rapa Nui come back to collect some bodies as they prepare to fight Wetten. Wetten goes on about how he abandoned the life of being a pirate for the simple luxuries of being a corrupt mayor, as he can extort the money from his citizens however he likes. Angered by its cowardice, Luffy scares Wetten away, who then goes and destroys the Rainbow Bridge, the only escape for everyone inside. Okay, how the hell did an 80-year-old man escape all of that? Not only is the rainbow mist gone, but now the sky is collapsing? Thankfully, Robin has all the books explaining the rainbow mist and how to escape.
What's wrong?
It must be in the next volume, though.
They find something that seems like a way out, but it's so far away and getting smaller by the second. The pumpkin pirates make a drastic call. They abandon ship back to their headquarters and plan to blow it up to give the Going Merry some momentum to reach the portal. Then a miracle occurs. Sanji and Chopper look up into the sky and see the Going Merry sailing down into the sea. The Straw Hats are back. With the rainbow mist still open, it sucks up Mayor Wetton's entire mansion and all the money he had. Karma's a bitch. Things seem fine as all the Straw Hats reunite, but uh-oh, it's the Marines from the beginning of the arc? They finally come to settle the score with the Straw Hats. However, the Marines with very familiar voices notice that the Wetton family are wearing stolen jewels and confiscate and send them to jail. When Henzo gets a good look at the soldiers, he realizes it's the Pumpkin Pirates. Rapa Nui explains the stupid timeline shenanigans. During the explosion of Ape's concert, the kids went back to the events of 50 years ago on a deserted island. They were then saved by the Marines. Wanting to stop Wetton, they decide to enlist with the Navy and work up in the ranks to have the authority to stop Wetton and his goons. So, yeah, remember how earlier in this arc, Rapa Nui accidentally shot at the Marine ships and let the Straw Hats escape? Yeah, he killed those people on purpose. However, Rapa Nui still has a duty to arrest the Straw Hat Pirates, but he makes up a lame excuse to let them free. While the Straw Hats set sail out of filler hell, we learn that the author of the Rainbow Mist was Rapa Nui, who explained the Rainbow Mist in 10 different volumes. Robin only had up to volume 9. The last one is still in Alabasta.
I should have let you. What the fuck?
Owner! Make G8 canon, and my life is yours!
Can we all just agree that G8 is really good? Welcome one and all to Navarone, an anime-only island on the Grand Line. This place is home to G8, the 8th Marine branch on the Grand Line. While it's known for being heavily guarded and having dedicated naval soldiers, this impenetrable marine fortress hasn't seen much action, causing all the soldiers, especially its captain, to become complacent and bored of their daily routine. However, today the Marines of G8 are about to have the worst weekend of their lives as a pirate ship lands directly into their fortress. The entire fortress doesn't hesitate to move in and prepare for action. Everyone runs around to check the unknown ship. When they get a closer look, they realize how drastic the situation is, as the ship belongs to the Straw Hat Pirates. The Marines lock all their ammunition on the Straw Hats and warn them to stand down. Yet no matter how many times they call out, not a single pirate answers. We meet the easygoing, fish-loving, tactical war genius, Vice Admiral Jonathan, who talks with Lieutenant Drake about the whole situation. The conversation is interrupted as Chief Petty Officer, who doesn't have an official name, tells them that all the soldiers are calling this a ghost ship.
The ship suddenly fell from the sky, okay? I swear!
Subscribe to Mushroom Man.
All those hands. The unmistakable touch of a beautiful woman.
I want to lick Beppo's toes.
It was really big and scary and it had a pink hat. Then it jumped up and disappeared!
Subscribe to Mushroom Man.
Jonathan checks the ship and uses his Alakazam level IQ to figure out the situation. After witnessing the Southbird and seeing the gold from Skypiea, he can deduce that the Straw Hats have just finished the Sky Island Saga.
That's no ghost ship. It's just a pirate boat out of Jaya.
And not just any pirates, it's the Straw Hat Pirates. I should know, I've seen their boat twice now.
Fun world-building fact. Lieutenant Drake has actually seen the Straw Hats before, both in One Piece Movie 4 and the dogshit Movie 5. I seriously love how even in filler, they tried to make everything connected in the One Piece world. It's kind of like the series has started its own non-canon universe with all the different filler arcs, and I love that. We check in on the crew. As always, Chopper runs around screaming and Zoro takes a relaxing swim. Nami finds the waiver and does her best to stay hidden, unlike Sanji, who almost gets shot in the face. Monkey D. Luffy, aka the leading cause of starvation, goes in search for food. Dude, One Piece is peak, I swear. While Luffy refuses to take anything seriously, an unlikely duo of Robin and Usopp make their move within the fortress. The next morning, Long Nami finds a bunch of ships arriving in G8, one carrying a group of wounded soldiers and another with some chefs from Mary Joie looking to help out in the kitchen. Nami uses her evil boobies to trick the pompous cooks into a dead end. Meanwhile, she finds a disguise. And speaking of cooking, welcome to season 35 of Kitchen Nightmares. On this episode, head chef Jessica has 1,000 mouths to feed and 0 patience for tomfoolery. Too bad for her, the biggest idiots have arrived as Sanji and Luffy quit the life of a pirate to pursue the culinary arts. Welcome to Baratier 2.0. Jessica challenges the new recruits to a cooking fight. Both sides will prepare meals for 100 people, and the Marines decide whose dish they like best. The cooks of Neverone strut their stuff and end up making 100 meals faster than ordering from McDonald's. That's, not a good thing. But Mr. Don't Waste Food or You'll Starve to Death on a Deserted Island isn't impressed. You're wasting perfectly good food! As he uses the remains of the dishes to make meals that will cause you to orgasm like it's Food Wars. Why do people watch this? Back to Nami! She manages to find a disguise, but unfortunately she chose the janitor class. Her first quest? To clean up the Marines' poop and piss. Thankfully, she won't have to do it for long as she runs into Zoro.
I'm tired of all this sneaking around. Tell me again why we can't just fight him?
I mean, he's got a point. Tired of Zoro's nonsense, she attempts to hide his swords and goes back to piss and poop duty. After some Looney Tune shenanigans, Zoro winds up getting caught by Vice Admiral Jonathan. 1 down, 6 to go.
Oh, come on. Are you guys just gonna sit there and stare at me?
Oh my god! It's Zoro! I am your biggest fan, dude. Oh my god. Can you do a Tatsumaki on my ass?
With news of Zoro's capture, the Marines' morale increases a bit, but they're still on high alert as a new threat has arrived. The legend of a blue-nosed creature known to act like a human has been rumored running around the base. Often mistaken for a reindeer, the magical disappearing raccoon dog is no laughing matter. Watch out, as this creature is as intelligent and skilled as a doctor. Speaking of doctors, we meet Dr. Kabato, a pediatrician who can't stand the sight of blood. For those that don't know, a pediatrician is a medical doctor that specializes in the needs for kids up until the age of 18. G8 is a Marine base filled with grown-ass men way above the age of 18. Where are the children and how did she get hired? With all the injured Marines arriving at the base, the medical team is severely understaffed, and so the nurses need the hemophobic doctor to help them. It's even worse for Nami as she upgrades from janitor to nurse and is immediately thrown into the situation. Dr. Kabato tries her best to guide the nurses, but even the mention of blood causes her to lose consciousness. I think she should find a new job. No need to fear, the buff furry is here! Chopper acts as one of the Marine doctors and uses his medical knowledge to guide the nurses. He tells Dr. Kabato to get her shit together and they help the patients to safety. We check back in on the scaredy cat and the reading rainbow enthusiast. Usopp wants to go guns a-blazing, but Robin says they need more information.
Aren't ancient ruins enough for you? Now you gotta analyze some stupid marine fortress?
Knowledge is power.
G.I. Joe! Over at the dock bay, we meet a simple health inspector who's already sick and tired of G8's bullshit and is hoping to shut the place down. Back at the dining hall, the Marines are absolutely in love with Sanji's cooking. However, Jonathan is kind of sick of his wife Jessica making the same meal every day and wants to try the new cook's food. And it doesn't take much for things to go wrong as Luffy's stupidity and greed gets him caught by the Vice Admiral. But thankfully, Luffy's team is saved as they use the group of Marines coming for dinner to escape. Back in Jonathan's office, he's given some good news as Lieutenant Drake brings Usopp. Usopp may have been caught, but he's got one more trick up his sleeve. He pretends to be a health inspector that was posing as a suspicious soldier. Rolling a nat 20 in deception, Health Inspector Usopp fools the Marines into his lies. That's a pretty good plan, Usopp. Unfortunately, somebody else had the exact same idea. Sorry, Long Nose, but the real health inspector has arrived. Meaning you're going to jail. And now, with Usopp and Zoro in jail, Vice Admiral Jonathan has 5 more pirates to take care of. Actually, make that another one as the Marines capture the Straw Hat's newest recruits. Introducing the origin of the Will of D. A man whose power and influence makes even a buggy D clown break a sweat. This is Condoriano.
Do you know what they've been calling me these days? They call me Condoriano.
So what? I thought that was your name.
No, you don't get it. My real name is
Condoriano.
Zoro calls upon the powers of Odin to give him the strength he needs to subdue Condoriano before he can neg-diff the entire Marine base. And this is why I hate filler, cause ain't no way Zoro can defeat Condoriano. Dude, the power scaling is all whack here. It's a good thing they won't be locked up for long, as Luffy and Sanji are on the rescue. Although it won't be easy, as not only are they ambushed on both sides, but the prison cell is made of sea prism stone. However, thanks to the Skypean seashell technology, they might have a way to escape. Be amazed, Blue Sea dwellers, by the power of an impact dial. Dude, One Piece is peak, I swear.
I thought it would be funny.
Luckily for them, the fart gets caught in some fire and causes a massive explosion, freeing the prisoners. With Zoro and Usopp free, the Straw Hats decide to finally kick some ass, all the way to the Going Merry. Over on Nami's side, the Marines inform Dr. Kabato about pirates lurking around. Eventually, Chopper decides to tell the truth, which causes her to panic.
Doctor? They escaped through the air ducts!
When Dr. Kabato wakes up, she decides to side with the pirates for helping her get over the sight of blood. 3 minutes of ass beating later, and Luffy's team makes it to the Going Merry. And oh look! The Marines have come to see them off! They are fucked. The Marines attempt to fight the Straw Hats with guns to getting high as hell to swords. They manage to handle the situation, but the Marines outnumber the 4 Goofy Goobers and even capture Luffy. However, the Straw Hats have reinforcements of their own. Chopper and Kabato might be doctors by day, but by night, they use their theater degrees and treat the women as hostages to let themselves board the Merry. With Makayo's help, the Straw Hats almost safely board the Going Merry and head out of the Marine base.
It worked, we did it!
Okay, now imagine if he wasn't made of rubber. And with Robin back on the boat, the crew is all accounted for and ready to set sail out of G8 and back into the canon timeline. As they head toward the gate, Nami makes a shocking discovery. All their gold is gone.
Oh, hey guys. How's it going?
With Nami's treasure gone, she refuses to leave it behind. Also, cause they literally need it for the Water 7 arc to fix the Going Merry. After a recap episode and a filler arc, the team decide to fight G8 for the gold. Operation Get the Gold is underway. Sanji and Nami make the waiver rescue team. Their goal is to recover Nami's waiver. Usopp, Zoro, Luffy, and Robin make up the gold recovery team. They will infiltrate Navarone and get back the gold. And that leaves Chopper. Remember Skypiea? He's doing that again. With the elegance and grace of a fairy, the gold recovery team find the vault hiding in the treasure.
That was easy.
Of course, the Marines of Navarone are far smarter than the average bear. While the Straw Hats fend off the Marines, Usopp unlocks the vault. Let's get that gold!
Guys, look! The gold! It isn't here! Fuck!
Well, at least the waiver recovery team was successful in their mission. Now, with their trusty motorboat, they meet back up with Chopper. Realizing the gold team is taking way longer than expected, Nami goes over to check things out. And she better hurry, as the Straw Hats are in the deepest piles of shit. To make matters worse, the legendary Con D. Oriano has decided to join the Marines and kill the Straw Hats for their betrayal. With one shot of the Eagle launcher, you can say goodbye to Monkey D. Luffy and his pathetic excuse of a crew. Condoriano pretended to be incompetent and miss on purpose to let the Straw Hats escape. I knew Condoriano wouldn't let his friends down. Reuniting with Nami, they think more on where the gold actually is and come to one conclusion. They need to think like a fisherman. If you want to capture your prey, you need to set the bait in plain sight. Thinking like this, Nami realizes where the treasure is. Taking Luffy along with her, they head straight for Vice Admiral Jonathan's office. Making an expected dramatic entrance, the cool and calm Jonathan already has some soldiers ready to capture the rookie pirates. Nami remembers she doesn't suck anymore and uses her climb attack to take out the Marines. Then they escape with the gold. And that's not all, as the Straw Hats use a fake Marine ship to get past all the guards. Dude, this arc is so good. Like, the constant strategies, twists, and back and forth drama between Jonathan and the Straw Hats is just so entertaining to watch, even without any, like, full-on action. And anything, you can tell this is filler because the Straw Hats are never this smart. The Straw Hats might have gotten away, but Vice Admiral Jonathan still has one final trump card, as when 9 p.m. hits, the island of Navarone bares its fangs. The Straw Hats are quick on the escape, but Vice Admiral Jonathan isn't the least bit worried. He's absolutely confident G8 will capture the pirates. As the Straw Hats run away, they notice the Marines stop chasing after them and even drop anchor in the middle of the ocean. Just then, they start being attacked by a bunch of rocks and even begin to sink. Before the Straw Hats can even come up with a game plan, all the water is gone. The Straw Hats are now stuck on Navarone, with the prey unable to move and the entire base of G8 ready to fire at the Straw Hats. Vice Admiral Jonathan declares checkmate on the smooth-brained monkey. The Straw Hats think of a solution and remember the octopus balloon they used to float. Dude, One Piece is peak, I swear.
Right here! Stop it, or I'll give you a taste of this impact dial.
The Straw Hats put their game plan into motion, forcing Usopp to use the impact dial not once, but twice to shoot themselves up in the sky. Meanwhile, they use the breath and flame dials to reinflate the octopus, causing them to fly out of Navarone. Dude, One Piece is peak, I swear. Vice Admiral Jonathan might have failed in capturing the Straw Hats, but he's proud. He's succeeded in getting the entire naval base of G8 to work together amongst a common foe. The proud warriors of Navarone may have failed their mission, but they showed the integrity and heart of the Marines. Why can't you beat Cannon? After having to suffer through the Foxy arc, the Straw Hats take a well-deserved rest. Except for Robin, who spends the night reading Morning Glory Milking Farm. Do not look it up. It seems like an ordinary night, but little do they know of the terrors that reside in the sea. As a strange kid carrying a seahorse-shaped instrument blows a loud horn. I have several questions, but I feel like my main thing is, I don't know if you could hear an instrument from underwater. Could you?
You're not gonna believe this!
Dawn breaks, and right when Robin finishes her naughty novel, Nami wakes up with a strange look on her face.
Who are you?
What the fuck? All of a sudden, none of the Straw Hats recognize each other. Chopper, Sanji, Usopp, Nami, and even our captain, Monkey D. Luffy, have had their memories reset to episode 1 of the series.
Oh no. Guys! I lost my memories too! Oh god. I don't remember my family, my friends, my bank information. Oh my god. I don't even remember my own name! What am I gonna do?
I'm Luffy, the man who's gonna be king of the pirates.
It's pretty bad that Nami and Chopper lost their memories. Cause for Nami, that means that she goes back to being someone who absolutely despises pirates and will do anything to steal their treasure. She kind of already does that. And thinking that she is still part of Arlong's crew and needing to save up as much money as she can to buy back Kokoyashi Village, despite the fact that it's already safe. And then for Chopper, he goes back to absolutely being terrified and hating humans and all of his insecurities with being a monster. However, it's not as bad as Robin, because I feel like if Robin lost her memories, then some of the Straw Hats would be dead. Usopp uses this opportunity to trick everyone into thinking they are part of the Usopp Pirates. But even without their memories, Luffy and Sanji can smell bullshit. Meeting up with the gals, Robin explains to everyone of the current situation with being in the Grand Line. Sanji, and especially Nami, don't believe all this nonsense. But when Nami looks around, she finds Bellamare's Tangerine Garden, family photo, and travelogue with her handwriting. Completely lost and confused, Nami is determined to head back and save Kokoyashi Village. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot. What about Zoro? Oh fuck. Zoro also lost his memories, reverting back to being a broke pirate hunter. And after hearing about the oh so great Captain Usopp, he's ready to make some money. But Nami interrupts the occasion by stealing the waiver and treasure from Skypiea. And with Zoro's murder boner ruined, he also heads out to the nearby island. Nami lands on Ignorance Island. Walking around the village, she notices the place seems pretty empty, but once the newspaper comes in, the whole village erupts into violence. The villagers fight to the death for the morning newspaper and run back into their homes before Nami can even blink. Look, I like the little Garfield comics they have on newspapers as much as the next guy, but I'm not gonna fight anybody over it. Maybe if it was Calvin and Hobbes, I might slaughter a family. Maybe. Nami runs into the spooky kid from earlier, not realizing who he truly is. The kid tries to trick Nami into staying on the island, but she's locked in on a mission to save her village.
Well, I'm feeling kind of worn out. I'd better head on home.
Meanwhile, Zoro aura farms on the island and spends half the episode reminiscing about his promise to Kuina. Back to the Straw Hats, Robin fills the gang in on everything that's happened after Alabasta to Long Ring Long Land with the hopes it'll jog their memories, but to no avail.
Can't really say I buy every aspect of her story, but she's got one piece of...
Robin makes the connection that everyone who fell asleep last night lost their memories and they all had one thing in common. They all saw a dumb little bitch boy kid in their dreams with a stupid fuck-ass 1930s horn he probably bought at Goodwill for like $41.75. And speak of the devil, the reject band kid is here, hoping to munch on some more memories. Luffy doesn't care about all that because he's pissed that some dork stole his seat and he goes to take it back. Slapping the seahorse out of the kid's hands causes some weird pixie dust to shoot out and envelop our captain. When the dust settles and the kid leaves, a miracle occurs. Monkey D. Luffy got his memories back. With Luffy's memories back, he's determined to rescue Zoro and Nami.
I'm all for bringing that lovely lady Nami back, but not that Zoro guy. He can just stay gone for all I care.
I'm starting to think maybe Sanji didn't lose his memories.
Right, but we should wait until morning. Let's get some rest, and then we'll begin our search when the sun comes up.
Yeah, Robin, let's sleep on an unknown island where a strange kid will steal our memories if we take a nap. And she's supposed to be the smart one. The next day, Luffy's team heads up to Ignorance Island to begin their search for Nami and Zoro, and oh shit, they found Nami.
Oh crap!
Nami reluctantly agrees to tag along once she realizes the kid from earlier was responsible for taking their memories. Unbothered by everything, Zoro just continues to train and aura farm. Impressed with his Bushido, the spooky boy tries to convince the swordsman to fight the rubber guy, but Zoro is annoyed with the seemingly fake stories. So Spooky Boy uses his powers to hypnotize Zoro into his mindless servant with one mission: to kill Monkey D. Luffy. The Amnesia Hats travel further into the forest and find a place called Sea God's Palace. Robin uses her special ability, Reading, to decipher the text and learns the truth of this island. As they continue walking along the island, they come across Zoro, but instead of a happy reunion, it's a fight to the death as he starts attacking Luffy. Let's be real, guys. Zoro is strong, but he's not beating Luffy, and we seriously need to come to terms with it. Well, egg on my face. JK, get trolled, Roanoa Simps, aka me. Luffy tells the crew to leave while he mid-dips this fight, spending more time dodging than actually attacking cause he doesn't want to hurt his friend. Oh, Zoro is the one who gave him the scar. Oh. This whole time I thought it was the magma guy. On its own, as a fight, Luffy versus Zoro in Whiskey Peak was way better. It was a fight with two dudes duking it out, trying to actually kill each other. Granted, the reasoning behind the fight was absolutely stupid and one of the dumbest things that ever happened in the series. Here, it's not really much of a fight because all it is just Luffy trying to defend Zoro's attacks versus actually fighting back. But I mean, here the reasoning makes a little bit more sense because, you know, he's being controlled versus Luffy's dumb thing with like, oh, you ate all the food, I'm gonna beat you up. Whatever. Meanwhile, Robin's team heads up to the Sea God's Palace, but Nami decides to be annoying and explains to everyone that our beloved archaeologist is trying to trick them all into following her. Nami begs the crew to come with her so they can all go home. A classic Nami versus Robin debate. A tale as old as time.
I really can't blame you for not putting your trust in me since you've lost your memory. But whether you believe me or not, I ask that you follow me.
Hey, look. Sorry, Nami. But even if Robin did betray me, took us into the back of those woods to shoot me in the head, and then chop up my body and serve my remains to hungry, starving kids in Alabasta, I'd happily go with her. There is no contest.
And looks like Sanji and Chopper agree with me as they tag along with the 6'1" queen to get their memories and teach the spooky boy a lesson. Usopp doesn't really want to go, but the thought of not being able to remember anything doesn't feel right, so he joins. And Nami only goes because Sanji still has the treasure. Arriving at the Sea God's Palace, they are greeted to the spooky boy who tries to take Nami and Usopp's memories.
It's not really my style to kick a kid, but
I got it.
All right. Arc over.
Sanji kicks away the seahorse. When the kid wakes up, he has no recollection of what's going on and runs away. Robin explains that the spooky boy wasn't the one responsible. It was the seahorse. Sanji then spends like 5 minutes kicking the shit out of the sea god and manages to get everyone's memories back. And just when it seems like things are starting to look up, Zoro emerges victorious from his battle with Luffy and is ready for more. The Zoro fanboys are not gonna shut up about this. The sea god commands Zoro to take out the rest of the Straw Hats. Sanji flies up into the sky to defend his queens, but realizes Zoro got his memories back and Luffy is perfectly fine. With everyone back to normal, they capture the sea god, but the creature uses his last resort. Using the memories of the Straw Hats, the sea god summons images of the people closest to the Straw Hats. Bellamere, Dr. Heerlook, Kuina, Kaya, Redfoot Zeph, Ace, and Shanks.
Oh, Robin, look! It's me, DJ, your best friend and future love interest. Don't you recognize me? God, I hope this works.
The sea god then turns the good memories into images of all the villains they faced. Stunning the Straw Hats with a flash of light, he takes the pirates' memories one more time and transforms. From a tiny seahorse, he has finally achieved his dream. The sea god has been gathering the memories of everyone on the island in hopes of becoming a millennial dragon and flies high into the sky. And once again, One Piece just keeps connecting the dots, because those dragons are the exact same dragons from the Warship Island filler arc. I've mentioned this before in my Rainbow Mist and G8 filler arc reviews, but I love that One Piece just has its own separate filler universe, and really the fact that all of them are connected and referenced back like this makes it worth it just to watch them all. This time, the sea god took so much of the memories that nobody even knows their own name. But Luffy's curiosity and love of adventure can never be taken away. Without even knowing he has devil fruit powers, Luffy launches himself at the sea god. The impact causes the discount millennial dragon to spill out some memories. Back to his old self, Luffy punches the sea god and sends him flying like he's Team Rocket, spilling out the memories of the whole island, bringing everything and everyone back to normal. The Straw Hats return to the island, hoping to be rewarded for saving the island, but Drim, we don't learn his name till like the end of the arc, says they're responsible for stealing the town's memories and they chase the crew off the island.
They've left me no other choice!
I'm gonna need therapy after that. And so, with the death of a whole island on their hands, the Straw Hats sail out of filler into the Water 7 saga. Alright, Frankie, now it's your turn to be in a filler arc. Whoa, who let the Ace Reject join the party? And what's with the stupid tattoo? A family of bounty hunters versus a family of pirates. Should be easy, but it's filler, so this'll take forever. Next time on One Piece, the Ice Hunters filler arc. A complete waste of your time. After saving Best Girl by defeating the Justice Furry, befriending a pervy cyborg who's really good at building ships, and escaping death at the hands of his own grandpa, Luffy and the Straw Hats set sail to the new world as they enjoy the luxuries of their new ship, the Thousand Sunny. As they enjoy their new pimped out ride, Nami notices something off about the sudden change of weather.
I guess we're getting pretty close to a winter island. But it's odd that Kokoro didn't mention anything about that.
After a few minutes, it starts to snow all over and they come across a seemingly abandoned ship in the middle of the ocean.
I've heard stories of a strange game between pirates that takes away crew members called a Davy back fight.
They do happen to find some people fishing and go to see what they're up to. Once they meet up, the fishermen explain that a band of pirates stole all their valuables and they've been stuck in the freezing winter for the past 3 days with little resources. As Chopper patches them up, Jiro, the youngest of the crew, asks our ranger with a PhD to take a look at their leader.
I don't recognize their flag. Maybe there's some rookie pirates coming from a faraway sea.
I'm Luffy, the man who's gonna be king of the pirates.
You got a lot of catching up to do, bud.
As a thank you for their hospitality, Staunton gives the Straw Hats some booze. No, Zoro, remember rehab! What was thought to be an act of kindness was actually a double cross, as the alcohol had sleeping gas. That's right, baby, Baroque Works is back. Welcome to Whiskey Peak 2.0, Crocodile's dusty revenge. The fishermen prepare to steal the Thousand Sunny, but don't realize they're dealing with the main characters, as Frankie, Robin, and Sanji come out for a fight. Staunton tries to play it off like it's some shitty YouTube prank video, but since Luffy isn't around, the Straw Hats can actually use their brains and call out the fisherman's bluff. As more of the Straw Hats enter the scene, the fishermen run back to their ship and try to break free, but Luffy is ready to throw some hands. Just then, an army of naval battleships, 3 times the size of a regular Buster Cole, surround the Straw Hats and start their assault. Now this might seem like overkill, but keep in mind these guys just destroyed one of the 3 major government strongholds. So the Navy's still pretty upset. As they're being attacked, Sanji notices an opening. Using Frankie's new soldier docking system, they activate the Thousand Sunny Channel 0 Paddle Sunny, which allows the ship to move at great speeds, giving them the quick escape from certain death. Once they escape the Marines, the Straw Hats demand they release Chopper.
I haven't seen him, but I'd be more than happy to help you look for him if he's not on your ship. Then he's...
Chopper!
What? What the fuck?
Chopper wants to stay on the ship to help save the fisherman's leader. While he might be a Straw Hat pirate, he's a doctor first, willing to save anyone who needs help. Jiro explains that they aren't really fishermen.
Yeah, you think?
They are the Phoenix Pirates, and this guy with Ligma is their captain, Puzzle. Just like a phoenix, no matter how bad the situation might be, Captain Puzzle will always rise up and win with a smile on his face. Yeah, I don't know about that one, guys. This cancer's gotta be at least Yonko Commander level. Jiro explains that they went to the New World, but ran away before almost dying at the hands of Charlotte Flampe. A while later, and the Straw Hats are surrounded by several icebergs, unaware of the ambush that's about to begin. Back on Chopper's end, Puzzle wakes up, and the Phoenix Pirates are thrilled their captain has once again defied God, and they're ready to get back to the New World. But Puzzle is too afraid, thinking back on how they lost in the New World. Back then, the Phoenix Pirates were unstoppable, truly believing they were the main characters, scaring off any low-level pirates that came their way. No matter how bad the situation got, Puzzle always came out on top, and his biggest supporter was Vigaro, his first mate.
This is the flag that's gonna make me the king of the pirates. I think you can do it. I mean, after all, you are our captain.
Oh yeah, they definitely fuck. However, just like Dawn Krieg, they were in over their heads. Taking one step into the New World, they immediately realized just how weak they were. Their entire ship covered in flames. Vigaro sacrificing himself so the crew could escape. Truly believing this fuck-ass bootleg Shanks could become king of the pirates. Then, to make matters even worse, a mysterious group steals their flag, cementing the death of the Phoenix Pirates. Back to the present, and the Straw Hats are being attacked by moving glaciers. Once trapped, the ones responsible reveal themselves. Introducing the Ichino family, a family of bounty hunters who've come to take the Straw Hats' flag for their father's birthday. We first meet the definition of PDA, Arabelle, the eldest daughter, and her husband, Salcho.
Hey, you! I challenge you to a duel!
There's also Lil, the youngest daughter, who's annoyed at her elder sister's relationship taking priority over her. Honestly, I would be mad too if my older sister's husband was that chopped. Frankie hits him with a coup de burst to escape. But unfortunately for the Straw Hats, Lil is a Pokemon trainer. She calls forth Wingull and uses Thief to steal the Straw Hats' flag. And so, with their flag stolen, the plot becomes grab the flag before our brain-dead captain calls us stupid. Valid. But it's gonna be difficult to move with all these icebergs in the way. Using Dock 3 Shark Submerged, Frankie and Nami discover that the evil Domo penguins are responsible for moving the ice. The Domo penguins attack the shark and even push the Thousand Sunny, causing Sanji and Usopp to fly away. That's right, everyone. The ones responsible for destroying Pangea and causing global warming are penguins. Let the Crusades begin. Usopp and Sanji land in a random cave and are greeted by Arabelle and Salcho. This should be an easy fight, but since there's a woman involved, Sanji's basically useless.
Beauty's soaring into my arms!
Even the ice makes it difficult to fight the horny hunters, so it looks like it's up to Usopp.
Blade Star!
Dude, if Usopp had a gun, he would have the highest kill count in One Piece. The horny hunters finish the fight with a classic Looney Tunes maneuver, causing Usopp and Sanji to drop into the cold water and become immobile. They have lost. Over on Nami's side, they run into the creepiest kid in the Ichino family, Hakura. Hakura uses his hockey pucks to freeze his opponents, but not even 0 degrees on the balls can stop our super cyborg. Frankie finishes the fight real quick and heads back to the submarine. But Hakura was only pretending to be knocked out as he slams ice pucks on their submarine. Unable to escape, Hakura has captured Frankie and Nami. They have lost. Damn! First Sanji and Usopp, and now Nami and Frankie? Ugh, things aren't looking too good for the Straw Hats. Wait, how's Robin doing? All alone on the Sunny, Robin runs into Lil. All Robin's gotta do is just Sane Flu, just Peppernick, real quick. Nobody will miss her, it's fine, it's filler. After they play a few rounds of Fortnite, Lil reveals that the Ichino family wants to capture the Straw Hats as a birthday present for their father and leader, Don Ichino. Break her spine, Robin! Robin tricks Lil into bringing her to the Ichino family hideout. Luffy and Chopper go looking for their crew, and as soon as they leave, the Phoenix Pirates are greeted by another member of the Ichino family, Brindo, the second eldest son. Realizing that Puzzle is in fact still alive, Brindo has come to kill the Phoenix as a present to his father. The Phoenix Pirates try to fight back, but they are no match, and the bird bitch is having a mental breakdown. Luffy comes back because he forgot to bring a snack and starts fighting Brindo, who tells him that they've taken the Straw Hat flag. Chopper even joins the battle, but he forgets he can be huge and kind of becomes useless. Thankfully, it's an easy fight for Luffy. Realizing he's in over his head, Brindo tries to escape.
Damn it!
Oh. I didn't realize it was that easy. Why don't more villains just do that? The terrified turkey decides to grow a pair and not only saves Luffy, but also captures Brindo. The Phoenix Pirates plan to beat up Brindo, but Puzzle, the scaredy swan, offers his life in exchange for letting the rest of his crew go free. Luffy's done fucking around and wants to know where his flag is at. Brindo gets a call from the Ichino family asking where he's at. Jiro decides to be a fucking idiot cause he's 11 and starts making demands, threatening to kill Brindo if they don't get their flag back.
Looks like the deal's off. Just you wait. Our powers are going to crush you.
Done. Just saved us like 3 episodes.
Brindo's body begins to glow red, and all of a sudden, a man glowing blue slams into the Phoenix Pirate ship, introducing Campechino, the eldest son and Brindo's twin brother. And because they're brothers, they have the power of magnetism. No devil fruit. They can repel one another or join together for all kinds of dangerous combo attacks that even give Luffy a hard time. During the battle, the brothers get a call and decide to head back to Lovely Land. Holy shit, where's Zoro? While all this is going on, Zoro has been wandering around the Iceland and came across the unknown land most people have only been dreaming to find, the location of Gold Roger's treasure, Raftel. JK, it's Lovely Land. Welcome to Lovely Land, the home of the Ichino family. Here, the prisoners are treated like celebrities to the point they are more than happy to go to jail. The leader, Don Ichino, is a powerful but impatient man who loves to collect the flags of his victims. Oh! I gotta go. Today is the Don's birthday, and to celebrate, his family are bringing him the bounties and flag of the Straw Hats. Zoro barges into the room, and with his room temperature IQ, he instantly becomes friends with the Don as they bond over alcoholism. But Mr. Ichino kills the friendship by showing Zoro the Straw Hat flag. Zoro prepares to fight the Don, but with his devil fruit power, he's able to melt anything he touches.
That is the ability of the hot fruit.
We already have that? Has One Piece just run out of ideas to the point we're making deviant art versions of already established fruits? Like, oh, I ate the cold fruit. It's completely different from Aokiji. Or no, you see, Chopper ate the human fruit. I ate the people fruit. Completely different. Zoro says fuck it and decides to fight anyway, but before he can end the filler arc, the Ichino kids come back and throw Zoro down into the dungeon with the rest of the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats try everything they can to escape and rescue their flag.
Good Power Star! Usopp Hammer!
Usopp, no! The Straw Hats hear a familiar voice and see Robin looking down on them. However, Robin has decided to join the Ichino family and has once again betrayed the Straw Hats. Robin, what the fuck? We had an entire saga the size of Dressrosa, I'm not kidding, trying to get you back. We are not doing this again. However, that was just a part of Robin's plan to get some snacks and cola for Frankie to power up and provide the Straw Hats a super escape.
Bark power!
And with the Straw Hats now free, they can focus on finding their flag before Luffy does. Speaking of Luffy, him and Chopper are still dealing with the mopey Phoenix pirates who tried to remotivate their captain.
That isn't the captain I used to know. Those aren't the words of the man who's gonna be king of the pirates.
Luffy and Jiro call a truce and head out for the final battle to get their flags back. Back inside Lovely Land, the Straw Hats run around everywhere looking for their flag. Meanwhile, Luffy and Chopper fight the Ichino family. Inspired by his crew and their never give up attitude, Puzzle thinks about his boyfriend once more, and the flames of the Phoenix rise again, burning away the ashes of cowardice. Puzzle, the hero of the Phoenix Pirates, has come back from the dead.
Show these bounty hunters what we're made of.
He's a coward, has a shitty birthmark, and he's basically discount Pauly from Water 7. Yeah, the Phoenix Pirates are cooked. Frankie, Sanji, Nami, and Usopp come outside to join the fight, while Robin and Zoro focus on finding the flag. Well, that was a stupid idea. The Straw Hats decide to stop fucking around and take out the Ichino family. All that's left is Compachino and the father, Don Ichino. The final battle has begun. Luffy starts throwing hands, but thanks to the powers of the horribly named hot fruit, Luffy can't even touch the Don as his body burns. Oh man, if only someone had a flame attack that could bypass Don Ichino's heat. Oh well, looks like the Straw Hats lose this one.
Get your shit together, Sanji! Steam, iron.
While Luffy fights the Don, Sanji, Usopp, and Frankie join up with the others inside to get their flag back. Puzzle takes out Compachino. Then him, Jiro, and Chopper also go inside for their flag. Back inside Lovely Land, Robin finds a garden and once again runs into Lil, who summons an evil plant monster to ensnare our archaeologist. Lil says she'll let her go if she promises to be her big sister forever. Usopp and Sanji barge in and help save Robin, fully aware they could be quick about it if they use fire moves, but decide not to. Now free, Robin hits Lil with a Naruto "I used to be like you" speech and runs away to get their flag back. Perfect timing, as Chopper's group finds the flag room and conveniently both of their flags are right next to each other. Back to the fight. Donna Chino, aka Discount Sakazuki, turns up the heat and prepares to end things once and for all. The pain is a lot for Luffy to bear, with temperatures as high as my subscriber count. Thanks, guys. But the heat of Luffy's dreams is at least the size of Grand Line Review as he pushes past the pain and defeats Donna Chino. And just in time, as the Straw Hats grab their flag and pull a Looney Tunes style maneuver to get their flag back on the ship before rubber-brained Monkey Man can notice. And so with that, the Straw Hats can now sail out of filler hell. But it's not that easy, as Compachino is still alive and charges straight for the Straw Hats. But here comes the Phoenix Pirates with a steel chair, as Puzzle says he'll handle it so they can escape.
And be prepared to face me when we meet again, in the new world!
Who's gonna tell him? And finally, even though the Achinos failed in their mission, they can at least celebrate together as a family. To be continued.
First up is our navigator, Nami. Kuma slams her up into the sky. How her back isn't broken is beyond me.
She wakes up and starts screaming and attacking the elderly in their own home. Another reason why I prefer Robin over Nami. This is Herodis, a weather scientist with a heart of gold. He wants to help Nami, but all she can think of is how to get off the island and back to her crew. Herodis calms Nami down by showing her the wonders of weather. Like, did you know a rope can cause tornadoes, or that cotton candy can be used to suffocate your enemies? That's some Bill Nye the Science Guy shit right there. Herodis takes Nami on a business trip to help an island suffering from desertification. He uses his wacky wizard wonders to call forth a rainstorm, saving their island, and all it took was $100. Man. Where was he during Alabasta? After witnessing the beauty of meteorology, Nami wants to learn more about the weather. Unfortunately, she gets tricked into being a slave. Happens to the best of us. After the events of Marineford, the old men of Witheria feel the wrath of the cat burglar as she attempts to steal one of the ships to escape. However, just like SpongeBob, she's a terrible driver and ends up damaging the island. The weather wizards imprison the dangerous woman and converse on how to punish the evil witch. Nami explains to the old men the situation with Luffy and uses fake tears to lower the enemy's special defense and runs off with Herodis so she can get a ship to escape. As she runs away, another newspaper detailing Luffy's return to Marineford interests Nami, who notices something odd about the photo. 3D2Y. The original plan to reunite on Sabaody in 3 days has changed. Luffy pulled this big stunt on Marineford to inform his crew of the new plan to reunite on Sabaody in 2 years. Nami has decided, for the sake of her captain, her crew, and her dream, she will stay on Witheria for 2 years to learn more about the weather so that one day she can create a map of the entire world. Who's gonna tell her? You know what? I'm feeling pretty super today. Let's check in on Frankie. On the Grand Line, we visit the future country Baltimore on Katakuri Island, a cold continent which faces harsh blizzards. Inside the storm, we meet Keaton, Gramps, and their meddling dog, Tadamo. They brave the brutal storms only to come face to face with the abominable snowman. However, not even an ice-type Bigfoot can withstand a barrage of point-blank missiles, as Tadamo was programmed for bloodlust and vengeance. Hoping to eat the beast for dinner, the gang check on the damage, only to realize it wasn't a monster, it's Cyborg Frankie.
Did bandits steal your pants? Why don't you put on this fur pelt?
That'd cramp my reputation as a freak!
Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my freak?
This explains a lot about that whole situation in Water 7. Frankie might be a freak in the sheets, but even this degenerate of society can't stand the cold. Keaton and Gramps take him back to the city. The scientists study Frankie, amazed by the cyborg technology of cola for batteries. However, these Neanderthals don't have any cola to power him up. What's worse than a freaky nudist who isn't afraid to wobble his pipe around your face? That's right, a gentleman! Just like in Enies Lobby, Frankie has been powered up with green tea, turning him into a soft baby bitch. God rest his soul. Top 3 things I would love to see Frankie drink. Sprite! It'll turn him into someone who thinks they're cool, but nobody likes him. Coffee! It'll probably just make him talk super fast and maybe have super speed. And finally, pink lemonade. Why? Honestly, I'm kind of craving it. I could go over some pink lemonade right now. Disgusted by his nice demeanor, Keaton has a plan to reignite the super in Fancy Frankie's heart. What might that plan be? To throw him all alone in the harsh blizzard with dangerous robot animals. One scheduled weapons left coming right up for this kid. Fancy Frankie tries to share his wisdom with the animals, but these robots are programmed to pummel boring people. What seems like a bad idea turns out to be a perfect solution, as all the fighting causes the tea to carbonate like cola, turning Fancy Frankie into our regular Super Frankie. He's back, baby. It is scientifically proven that if you shake up tea long enough, then it'll taste exactly like cola. Nah. Frankie needs to refuel before he turns back. Keaton takes him to the place where the cyborgs are built, the old home of Dr. Vegapunk, the smartest man in the world. A few days later, Frankie learns about what happened at Marineford, enraged as he demands a ship. Gramps tells Frankie about icebreakers, ships designed to pass through the ice. He believes Vegapunk might have one in his lab, so Frankie goes to check. Gramps warns Frankie not to do anything dangerous in the lab, like, oh, I don't know, accidentally pressing a self-destruct button? Nah, Frankie's weird, but he's not stupid. Vegapunk's research is a historical monument and has become the pride of Baltimore. Frankie enters the lab and is immediately chased by Marines and robots. He manages to slip past them and finds one of Vegapunk's research rooms. Oh, cool, a button. Well, sorry, Luffy, but, you're gonna need a new shipwright. Polly could be good. Keaton and Gramps check in if Frankie's alive or not. In the middle of the destruction, a newspaper appears, detailing Luffy's return to Marineford. Frankie gets up and sees the message, and we see a fucking nightmare. Later on, the freaky family uncover a hidden room. Inside of it is Vegapunk's real laboratory. After learning about 3D2Y, Frankie decides he will live on Baltimore inside Vegapunk's laboratory. For the next 2 years, Frankie will learn Vegapunk's research and rebuild his body, one suited for the future king of the pirates, so he can continue to live out his goal of sailing the world with his ship of dreams. Why does it smell like cotton candy? Oh wait, that's Chopper! All alone in a strange forest, a raccoon dog walks around looking for and dreaming of its friends.
Chopper! Oh my god! Dude, it's me! Your best bud in the whole world and one of the Straw Hats! Wow! Yup, this is totally real! Don't ruin this for me.
Chopper wakes up. God
damn it!
To find himself seconds away from being eaten by giant birds. Chopper manages to escape, while any other person would lose all hope. This reindeer has infinite drive to see his friends again, as Chopper looks around the forest for food to eat. It's too bad getting clubbed on the head wasn't on the menu. Chopper wakes up to see a bunch of tribesmen dancing and preparing an upcoming feast. I hope you're hungry, Chopper, cause we're eating you! Chopper screams at the islanders, who are surprised to see an animal talk, which I mean, yeah, that's a pretty logical response. But before they can talk things out, the birds from earlier start wrecking the place, once again giving Chopper a hard time. This is Birdie Kingdom, an island in the South Blue, where the humans and birds are at constant war with each other. A few days later, and Chopper has actually befriended one of the baby birds, who suffered some serious injuries after falling out of its nest. Chopper goes to sleep, only to wake up and find the spherical baby gone. He looks around the forest and finds the Cheaper, but it doesn't take long for things to go horribly wrong as the islanders find and attack them. Then it gets worse as the birds come to at first save the baby, then attack Chopper. This reminds me of the good old days on Drum Island, where both the humans and the animals wanted Chopper dead. Those were good times. Speaking of which, Chopper gets caught again. This time, he's able to actually talk to the tribesmen. Shanba explains the war with the birds. High up on the trees are special herbs used to make medicine. However, Big Bird's shitty cousins took refuge on the island and attacked whenever the natives got too close.
Don't worry, I'll go talk to the birds and ask them to stop picking on you, okay?
Raccoon can talk bird?
I sure can.
I'm starting to hate the trope of talking animals being able to understand any other living creature. I feel like at most, Chopper should only be able to understand other mammals. It would be like, oh, I'm a human. That means I should be able to understand and speak fluently with any other living person. Chopper tries talking to the birds, but they don't give a fuck, bro. The tribesmen see this and fight back against the birds. The intense battle causes Chopper to fall off as he finally loses hope on the island. However, the mama of the baby bird saves Chopper and screams at the other birds to make peace with the humans. It turns out the birds came to this island to protect their own treasure, as many times in the past, a bunch of crooked humans would try to take their stuff and force them to leave. Look at you, Chopper. You stopped two groups from killing each other in an unnecessary war. Now, why didn't you do that in Skypiea? You could have saved us like 15-20 episodes, my guy. The next day, Chopper sees the birds and the natives being good friends to one another. Just then, Chopper sees the latest article about Marineford. Chopper says goodbye to everyone in Birdie Kingdom and heads for Sabaody. During the flight, he gets another newspaper about Luffy's return to Marineford and immediately learns the game plan for 3D2Y. Chopper asks to study in the Birdie Kingdom library, with knowledge fully foreign to him. They might talk and look dumb, but the natives are surprisingly really smart. For most of Chopper's life, he was seen as a monster. It wasn't until he met Dr. Hirolook where he learned to fight like the pirates do for the sake of his dream. Chopper will live on Birdie Kingdom for 2 years to become an even greater doctor and embrace the monster within for the sake of his crew, so that someday he can find a cure for every disease. Ugh, all this talking is making me hungry. Let's see what Sanji's cooking up. Welcome one and all to Peachy Island, located in the Grand Line, a beautiful wonderland where anyone and anything can freely express themselves outside societal norms. Waking up on the island is our B-tier fumbler Sanji, who's being treated by a beautiful woman named Elizabeth. Sanji gives up on seeing his friends for 7 seconds of heaven as he goes to see his savior, although when he enters Elizabeth's home, he notices something different from what he had imagined. That's right, Peachy Island is a paradise for all drag queen brothers, sisters, and non-binaries alike. For Sanji and his toxic masculinity, Kamabaka Queendom is hell on earth. And welcome to Sanji Hates the Gays. Here's the thing. Oda has made many phenomenal characters who are gay and will continue to do so. But this is kinda yikes. All day and all night, Sanji rolls around at the speed of sound trying to run from the gay thoughts. The only thing keeping him sane is to reunite with his friends. The next morning, he continues his morning jog of death only to meet Lady Caroline, the substitute queen of Kamabaka Kingdom. Sanji demands a ship to Sabaody. Caroline is more than happy to accept his request, but on one condition: he must defeat her in combat. Sanji gladly accepts the challenge, thinking this will be an easy fight, but he underestimates the strength, beauty, and colossal confidence of a drag queen as she beats Sanji in the worst way possible by revealing the woman within him. Sanji accepts his feminine side, realizing how much of a creep he's been to the ladies, which holy fucking shit he has been. Like, if anybody did even half the shit he's done IRL, they'd be gunned down on the spot. And so Sanji and his sisters chase the rainbow as he hopes his crew will accept the new him. The next afternoon, the ladies enjoy another beautiful day at the beach. Sanji looks at the newspaper to check his weekly horoscope, only to find out that Luffy was on Marineford and Ace had died. That's right. Finding out that one of your friends was in a war and their loved one died will ungay you. With his head and penis on straight, Sanji reverts back to being a pervert and demands he get a ship to see his crew. During all the shenanigans, everyone sees that the queen has returned. That's right, our mistress, Emporio Ivankov, is the ruler of Kamabaka Queendom. Sanji stares at Eva with a question mark-shaped snake and asks if he knows anything about Luffy. However, Ivankov doesn't believe Sanji is a part of the Straw Hat Pirates. Knowing he doesn't have time to mess around, Sanji decides to take a ship by force and challenges Ivankov to a fight. He pulls out his strongest attacks, but such a weak kick is an insult to Ivankov as he neg dips the cook. Zoro fans are eating good right now. Eva shows pity on the closeted Sanji and gives him a newspaper about Luffy's return to Marineford, where he learns about Operation 3D2Y. Later that day, Sanji enjoys the delicacies of Peachy Island and is astonished by the power he feels when he eats the food. Ivankov explains the foundations of food and what it does for the body via aggression.
The food you eat can build your body? Can't say I've ever thought of approaching it that way before.
Sanji, you're a chef! How do you not know about the importance of nutrition and health? Like, that sounds like some shit a fry cook at Burger King would say. Don't eat Burger King, by the way, it is disgusting. Sanji demands to know the secret Krabby Patty formula, but it won't be easy, as he must defeat 99 masters, who each hold a scroll containing a special recipe. For the next 2 years, Sanji's fragile manhood is on the line. For the sake of his crew and his dream to become a chef fit for the king of the pirates, he will fight the entire island of Kamabaka Queendom every day and every night. Alright, no more goofing around. How's our favorite archaeologist holding up? We revisit the East Blue and come across Tequila Wolf, a snow country where for the past 700 years, criminals and refugees are reduced to slaves, forced to work on a never-ending bridge that will connect to different islands. This is Sonia, one of the workers. She walks around the snow during her break looking for supplies. During the scavenger hunt, she comes across a limited edition Nico Robin doing the Family Guy death pose. Sonia takes Robin to her station with the other ladies who are against having a stranger with them, but they begrudgingly agree to let her stay until her wounds heal.
Something about you smells so nice.
I'm not wearing any kind of perfume.
Maybe it's the scent of the outside world.
You smell like New Zealand. The next morning, Soren asks Robin about the outside world and shows her drawing she made of what Soren imagines the outside world is like. Unfortunately, the fun is ruined as one of the workers was a rat and tells the guards about Robin. By the time the guards show up, Robin had escaped, but they interrogate Soren with her drawings on the line. Before the child gets her Monday morning beatings, Robin causes a ruckus and gets caught by the guards so Soren doesn't get hurt. Robin is put in prison and violently interrogated about why she's on the island.
Excuse me, sir, I don't mean any disrespect, but why does our prison uniforms require us to have our shirt open to the point you can almost see our nipples?
Well, it just goes to show. Some men have no taste when it comes to giving a lady a gift.
Aww. So you don't like the miniature stinky feet Sonic statue I made you? Man. Robin is thrown in jail and talks to a strange old man who rambles about rebellion and justice for whatever reason. Just then, an agent of the Revolutionary Army comes by and saves the old man, who happens to be one of the leaders. With no idea who she is, they let Robin free out of pity. They escape the prison, only to be greeted by a bunch of armed soldiers. Congrats, guys. Your reward? A death. Robin neg-diffs everybody, cause let's be honest, Robin's powers would be fucking insane in real life. With everyone saved, the revolutionaries thank Robin and then inform her about the events of Marineford. The revolutionaries say they want Robin to come with them and meet Monkey D. Dragon, the boss and Luffy's father. At first, Robin declines as she solely wants to see everyone again, but takes a ride anyway. During the travel, she's given another newspaper explaining the aftermath of Marineford and Luffy's plan for 3D2Y. Robin thinks back to her past, once being all alone with no one to turn to, only for the crazy Straw Hats to risk their lives against the world government to save her. For the next 2 years, she will travel with the Revolutionary Army for the sake of her crew, so that one day Robin can uncover the true history of the world. Robin's portion of the Wherabouts story is super interesting to me solely because it just feels like I'm not watching One Piece. Like, it feels so different with how melancholic and like the completely different art and animation style it has. Like, this totally feels like it could be its own series right now. You guys feeling silly? Cause I want to see what Usopp's up to. Welcome to the Bowen Islands, a flower-shaped archipelago in the Grand Line. Despite being all alone, our president of panic, Captain Usopp, is taking the loss of his friends surprisingly well. The good vibes don't last long as Usopp is attacked by a lion-sized ant. All seems hopeless for our S-tier coward, but he's miraculously saved by the great warrior Heracles. God damn it. After 40 minutes of Usopp trying not to die, he meets Heracles. This is a stupid bit. He meets Heraclesian, a mighty warrior and expert of the archipelago. Taking note of Usopp's hunger, he takes him to the Forest of Gluttony, where the water is noodles, spaghetti and chocolate come from the ground, and meat grows on trees. The American dream. This feels like Discount Whole Cake Island. Instead of sweets, we have meats. Usopp is normally not known for being a glutton, but with his abnormal appetite combined with the most delicious food he's ever had, get fucked, Sanji, he becomes a fatty. You may not like it, but this is what peak masculine performance looks like. Before Heracles can fat shame, the island starts to shape. In reality, the Bowen Islands are actually a bunch of oversized man-eating plants known as stomach barren, who even eat sea kings. The fat-phobic Heracles lets Fatsop die, but thankfully his obesity leads Fatsop to a rope of ramen. That Sop has now become a monster unlike anything we've ever seen, but one newspaper changes his entire mindset. Now knowing about the death of Ace, Fat Sop locks in and does everything he can to escape the island to see Luffy. Barely being eaten once again by the Stomach Baron, Usopp apologizes for his weakness and inability to be there for his friend. Eating out of frustration, the key to Usopp's escape comes in the form of a newspaper article. Usopp gets the memo on 3D2Y. What Usopp lacks in courage, he makes up for in accountability. For the next 2 years, he's determined to turn his fat into pure muscle. Heracles decides to help Usopp's growth by teaching him about pop greens. But we'll worry about that in Fishman Island. With a 2-year workout routine set, Usopp will work towards becoming a real king of snipers to protect his crew and become a brave warrior of the sea. Finally, it's Zoro time, baby! Welcome to the dark and gloomy island, perfectly named Gloom Island. Perona was sent here by Kuma after telling him how she'd love to visit a dark and damp place with a creepy castle. Be careful what you wish for, kids. She loves the vibe but is upset she has no simps to do her bidding. Worry not, ghost girl, your prayers have been answered. However, instead of an incel, you get the complete opposite in Zoro. Zoro gets what every down bad weeb, or Sanji, wishes they could have. A cute goth girl nursing them back to health. Zoro screams himself awake, and when he sees Perona, he's ready to fight. However, this ghost girl reminds us just how overpowered she really is. Zoro falls and becomes the new Kumasi. Eventually, Perona feels bad and decides to let Zoro go, but then she changes her mind and goes full psycho.
You won't get away from me that easily. Because you see, I've been lonely far too long.
A cute, gigantic goth girl who wants to keep me here all alone in an empty mansion together for the rest of my life? It's a Christmas miracle!
Perona might have herself a slave, but Zoro's lack of direction makes even the Depression Queen feel miserable. Bored by his stupidity, Perona lets him go. Zoro uses this opportunity to find a way off the island, but Perona decides to walk with Zoro as she has nothing better to do. During their spooky date, they come across an empty battlefield, and just then, Zoro is attacked by an unknown group of soldiers who even give our swordsmen a hard time in battle. These are human drills, the literal definition of monkey see, monkey do. After witnessing a great war, the monkeys have learned to fight like humans, combined with their own natural strength. Alone, Zoro can mid-diff the monkeys, but one after another, these creatures overpower our crippled swordsmen. It's too bad there's no one around who could quickly incapacitate them with her abilities. Although she isn't needed, as the owner of the island finally returns. Each footstep he makes tightens the monkey's buttholes in fear. The eerie feeling reminds Zoro of an encounter he had back in East Blue. Emerging from the shadows is Hawkeye Mihawk, the greatest swordsman in the world. Zoro explains how he got on the island, and then Hawkeye bluntly tells Zoro the news about Luffy's dead brother Ace. Before he knows it, Zoro wakes up back in the kingdom. He barges into the middle of Mihawk and Perona discussing whether Moria died on the battlefield, demanding a ship. Hawkeye informs the eager Zoro about a boat nearby, but he'll have to face the human drills again. Despite the danger, Zoro goes anyway. He immediately encounters the baboons, who have now learned Zoro's fighting style. The battle even causes the boat to be destroyed. After another failed attempt, Perona shows Zoro the latest news article about Luffy's return to Marineford. While everyone else got it, Zoro realizes he can't read. This kind of makes me wonder what would happen if nobody understood Luffy's message. Like, we would get the bad ending where in the middle of Luffy training, he just sees a news article about how his entire crew got captured in Sabaody. Thankfully, Zoro gets the memo about 3D2Y and makes a drastic call. Right in front of Mihawk, he bows to his knees, begging to learn under his wing. Disgusted by the warrior's pathetic attitude, Mihawk tells Zoro to leave his sight, not wanting to train someone who struggled so much against the human drills. But Zoro tells him he beat the baboons. Hawkeye asks why he's so desperate to learn from the guy he wants to beat. Zoro simply says, to kill him. To beat the best, he needs to learn from the best. Humored by his fucked up mindset, Mihawk decides to train Zoro. For the next 2 years, Zoro will stay on Gloom Island along with Perona. Learning from the world's greatest swordsman, Zoro will get a whole lot stronger for the sake of his captain, crew, and best friend, so that someday he can beat Hawkeye Mihawk and become the world's greatest swordsman. Last but not least, we have Mr. Underrated Brook. In the depths of the Grand Line is Lazy Bones Island, home to the entire Brook fanbase. The residents of Lazy Bone Island have suffered abuse from the Long-Armed tribe for many years, with nothing left but the clothes on their backs. After failing time and time again and calling up every god or deity in the phone book, they try to slide up in Satan's DMs. However, Satan is busy filming Smiling Friends Season 3, so he sends his best buddy Brook instead. The I Love Brook community are more than excited to have summoned their savior. The citizens give Brook a food offering, but it turns out that was all the food they had for weeks. Their leader Peccody tells Brook about their rivalry with the Long-Armed tribe and desperation for help. Speaking of the Long-Armed tribe, they come back to attack and yoink the only girl of the group. Our ghostly gentleman decides to help these poor souls by writing some music rather than, you know, actually going to save the girl. Brook, you can run on water and cut at the speed of sound, right? You should have had no problem saving her. As Brook continues his musical ritual, he comes across the news article about the death of Ace. Oh no! Ace is dead?! Am I supposed to know who that is? Having finished his musical masterpiece, Brook plays a little ditty that invigorates the fan club and gives them the strength to fight back against the Long-Armed tribe. Wait a minute, this song sounds familiar. The Dead Bones Club defeats the Long-Armed tribe and saves their captors. Brook tries to scare the goons into stopping their savagery and abuse. However, that completely fails and they steal Brook in hopes of making a quick buck out of him. Now in enemy territory on Sword Mountain Island, Brook has become entertainment for these freaks of nature. Was that racist? The Long-Armed goons are annoyed by Brook's lack of enthusiasm for the upcoming show. 5 minutes before he goes on center stage, they give him the latest newspaper, which shows Luffy's 3D2Y message. For the next 2 years, our classical musician Dead Bones Brook will pick up the guitar and become a rock star legend, so that someday he can reunite with Laboon. And that's the end of the Straw Hat's Whereabouts arc. I'm really glad that Toei took the time to fully animate these cover stories, and they did it throughout the entire Summit War saga. It's just so nice to see other parts for the One Piece world and how the different characters interact with one another. It just makes the overall lore of the series that much richer and interesting to dive into. I have said this many times before, but I really wish that they would animate more of these cover stories, like Django's Dance Paradise, Ace's Great Blackbeard Search, or Meet Baroque Works. Like, all of that is perfect content that's canon versus trying to come up with fully original filler content. That's about it. Let me know what you guys think about this cover story. Thank you guys very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole YouTube shebang, and I'll see ya in the next video. Bye!